the sprint cars is Owen Larson. And why not? His dad won a sprint car race on Tuesday this week.
Yeah, driving for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.,
How about that?
believe it or not.
Not just any sprint car race, a World of Outlaws.
That's right, but it would have been wing on it.
There's your fast five from practice earlier this morning. The driver who's third on that list is with Jamie.
And Joey Logano won the last two poles here, both last year, and you were definitely in the conversation in the only practice session we had. Do you feel like you have what it takes for a third pole?
Maybe a good shot at it, which is nice. Our Shell Pencil Ford's got good speed in it, unloaded pretty good. We switched to qualifying trim by our second qualifying run. It seemed like it picked up some good speed, so this place is always fun qualifying, going so fast, and you got to commit harder than you really feel like you want to, so it's a fun ride for sure.
Most used word we hear, commitment at Michigan.
Absolutely. Crew Chief Todd Gordon at the ready. See if Logano can notch another pole here. We'll show you the format for qualifying. Round one, all 37 cars, fastest 24 advance. Round two, half of those advance to the final round, and we'll figure out who wins the pole. So the Cole Trickle story is, last year we had this really nice, earnest young man as our runner up here in the booth. His first name was Cole. We called him Cole Trickle after the character that Tom Cruise played in Days of Thunder, which we had to explain to him. Well, he's back to help us again, and we just learned before we went on air that when he got home after the weekend and told his folks we were calling him Cole Trickle, they said, yeah, that's who you are named for. You were named. You were actually named. There he is over his shoulder. Hey, Cole, wave to the folks at home. There's Cole Trickle.
It took him 19 years to figure that out and a visit up here to the Fox booth.
But in a good way. Absolutely. All right, 45 seconds until the track is open. There are still 3 cars in inspection, according to our unofficial tally. Ryan Newman is one of them. Matthew Benedetto is another, and Landon Castle, who backed hard into the wall at the end of practice. Not sure if they've presented a car for inspection for qualifying or not, because he pretty much used up that number 34 in the closing minutes of practice. 15 seconds and the session will start, so that means that Newman will have to climb aboard along with Benedetto and drive the car out to pit road once pit road is active, and qualifying begins now.
I don't believe there's any reason to wait. I mean, the weather's pretty good. It's overcast. We're not looking for a cloud or anything. I think I'd go out there and lay me a lap down and get back in here and get that baby cooled down, get ready to go again.
There's only one reason to wait. Commitment. And I just say that based on... I just say that based on... Because of the level in which you have to push things, as Joey Logano said, you want to know how much grip there is, how much more speed is in the car, in the tires, in the track versus your last run, because you know what you did in practice. You don't know exactly how hard you can push it here in qualifying. So when somebody goes out like Jimmy Johnson is here early, he's going to give us a very good indication just how fast this racetrack is.
And we see how dark that groove is, Jeff, and we were talking before we went on air that you were having a close look at the way the Xfinity cars ran out here earlier, and didn't get much out of that groove at all.
No, they really didn't. And you can look how Jimmy's right on the edge of where that rubber's laid down in that gray area. There's not much grip when you get outside of that gray area or into the gray area. So you're running right to the edge. Not only engine limit of the tires at 215 miles per hour. Turn 3, we're seeing 212 miles per hour by Jimmy Johnson.
Short back straightaway, not very long, make that kind of speed. Oh my goodness.
You see Jimmy run a little bit lower line there, which is certainly, if you can get the car to pull down there and it sticks, that gives you a little bit more wiggle.
What we got here for a time?
35.93.
Not a lot faster than what we saw in practice.
That's why this 20 car, we see these Gibbs cars always got sparks flying out from under. Think about the 18 car. We saw that last week, and here's Kansas, he's second week.
Well, we used to see that out of the 6 of Trevor Bain and the Roush Fenway cars, where they were using either the right side skirt or tailpipes to sort of gauge where the car is at, and seeing a lot of sparks. Now we're starting to see that also out of the Gibbs cars.
I think a lot of guys put new skirts on the right side of these cars for qualifying. Don't think it's all that unusual, and I don't think it hurts anything by any means. It means that thing's getting down in the racetrack.
So Jimmy Johnson, top of the chart, 7/100ths of a second faster than he practiced, and he's the first driver here over 200 miles an hour.
DW, I know you said it doesn't hurt anything, but if I'm doing 250 miles per hour in the corner, I don't want to hear anything scraping the racetrack.
Turn your radio up.
Darrell Wallace Jr. on the left in the 43. Bush on the right. Now off to Dillon. Bush second.
I don't think anything around the 36 flat, anything in the 35, that's pretty impressive in this program, in his first set.
But watching Bubba Wallace is where I'm more of him. He rolled out the throttle pretty early to get over that flat transition, but back to the throttle early.
Cuts the engine off, cuts it what we call, it's a clean cut, but he does that so he doesn't get too hot.
That lap is 0.4 of a second faster than he practiced, so really good pickup there. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the left, Michael McDowell on your right.
Junior really good in practice, one of the fastest cars.
And last week's winner, Ryan Blaney, sporting new colors on his Ford. And that is the Omnicraft Ford. Now you might think, wait a minute, Wood Brothers is sponsored by Ford Motor Company. True. Omnicraft is a new brand for Ford of auto parts made to fit makes other than Ford that can now be serviced at your local Ford dealer.
I like that.
Earnhardt third, 36.15.
Good lap.
And that is right on top of what he practiced.
Good lap.
Blaney's putting Harvick's putting a really nice lap. He's been very fast in qualifying this year.
Blaney's second, half a tenth quicker than he practiced. And now Harvick, top of the chart, 35.75.
Now we're talking.
In practice, he was 36.08.
You could listen to his throttle. He really carried a lot of throttle, sort of tapered out of it, but never got all the way out of it going into turn 3.
Kind of a Harvick trait. He never really gets all the way out of the throttle. He just keeps that car planted. And that's the quickest lap we've seen today at 35.85 in practice.
And the difference, you could listen to Daniel Suarez on our left. He got all the way out of the throttle getting into 3.
Suarez, 8th quickest. As Eric Jones comes around and Danica Patrick on the left. And
I was expecting a little bit more speed out of Eric Jones. 78, Mark Truex Jr. was fast in practice.
Now Jones was 6th, and he is almost 2/10 quicker than he practiced.
Yeah, that's everybody's picked up a little bit, looks like, here in this first go-round, and I expected that with the weather. And
Danica Patrick
tried a little harder.
She picked up half a second.
Wow.
Denny Hamlin, 36.12. Brad Keselowski on your left, 36.12 in practice for Hamlin, that is.
Oh, Hamlin's car looked a little nervous getting into 3. We'll see what kind of lap he puts up here.
Good one, third, 35.99, so he picked up more than a tenth.
It wasn't the car.
Practice.
It wasn't the car, Mike. It was him. He was a little bit nervous, but the car was great.
Look at those stars flying out of the
yeah.
right side of Truex.
Just had those skirts on there.
13th for Brad Keselowski against a 36.15 in practice, a 36.49. So Keselowski slowed down about 3/10. Truex 35.99, and that's right where he practiced.
Good lap.
But you've got to wonder, since the goal here is only to be in the top 24.
Yeah, they're safe. Those guys at the top, they're saving a little bit for round 2 and 3.
Well, the 78 car was on the front row here last year, so he's getting around here pretty sporty.
That's Cole Witt on your left, Jimmy McDowell.
He's good. He's good down a fast lap. Yeah.
Came to the green really good.
Car's been fast here, second both races last
wiggle,
year.
but didn't cost him much time. Slowing down a little bit now, but still pretty good. All these cars, Newman, McMurray, all of them decent laps.
Pretty similar aero package, Mike, to what we ran here last fall in the second race here. So these guys have a little experience with that.
5th, Jamie McMurray running exactly what he practiced.
Larson on the right, he was fastest in practice. See if he can back that up. So far he is.
Chase 10th quickest there, Jeff. Not quite what we were expecting.
Fell off about a tenth and a half. Newman 36.50.
You see the back end of Larson's car come around on the entry. It's going to cost him
35.85 in practice for Larson. He is second, 6/100ths faster.
Joey Logano's the one I'm really curious. He was on the pole both times here a year ago. Not seeing the speed out of his 22 vehicle this year, but I would think if he's going to show it, today is going to be the day.
He's got 3 poles here, got a couple of wins, so it's one of his best tracks.
Wiggled a little bit on him coming off through 3 and 4.
And Logano is 12th, 36.20, which should be enough to transfer. Kyle Busch had trouble getting started on pit road.
Well, this is the guy I think will put the top speed up right here.
He just didn't want to fire, we're told. Clint Boyer on the left.
Fuel injection can be temperamental sometimes. If you give it any amount of throttle before it fires, it can take a while to cycle and get that fuel out of the system before it will fire up. If it has too much, fuel injection acts very temperamental.
Now, the DC unit has a mind of its own.
Boyer 14th. Wallace is on the hot seat in 24th. Trevor Bain's been bumped, so is Paul Menard, Ryan Sieg in the 23, Corey LaJoie and Cole Whitt.
Getting started might have been a problem on pit road, but it sure is firing on all cylinders out here on the track.
Yeah, he should be pretty quick. This guy, I think, it's going to be pretty hard to beat for the pole.
David Reagan completing his lap.
Also lost a little bit, very similar to Larson, where through the middle 3 and 4 and off the exit, lost a little bit.
Third for Kyle Busch, 35.82. And that is quicker than he practiced. So now our tracker is going to show 24th position. Michael McDowell's been bumped, so is Darrell Wallace. That's Matt DiBenedetto now on the hot seat against Casey Kane.
3-time pole winner, Casey Kane.
Yeah, won
He
this
likes
race
this place.
back in 06, so
He's shown good speed earlier today at a 36.19. He's within a tenth of that, and he is 17th. So DiBenedetto is out, and Chris Buescher is on the bubble.
Mike, this little team has really struggled the last few weeks. Got off to a great start this year. Run great at Daytona, Atlanta, a couple of early races. But, man, they've had terrible finishes, wrecks, and all kind of mechanical problems the last few weeks.
Last 3 races. Not running at the finish. 3 cars to go. One is Jeffrey Earnhardt. Chris Buescher waiting to see if he will transfer to round 2. Now, it might only be 2 cars to get around. I don't believe Landon Castle's car came out, the number 34. No, they have a backup car they're preparing. They will not make the qualifying run. So Jeffrey Earnhardt may bump in here.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Darrell Wallace Jr. going out, making a second run.
He'd be on the pole.
Yeah, he is 35th in the Hulu Chevy, so Chris Buescher waiting. Who's not made a run? A.J. Allmendinger is the only car that has not yet made a run here in the first round, but Larry, how nervous are these fellas in 22nd, 3rd, and 4th right now?
Well, you obviously need to get the engine very cool because it takes so long to get around here for 2 laps, and you want to run that tape just as solid as you can on the nose. But one thing about it, heating tires here or even a lap on the tires does not kill them. In fact, in the Xfinity Series, they're running the same tire combination that the Monster Energy Cup Series is racing here at Michigan, and they were actually scuffing some of their tires during practice. So we always talk about laps on the tires. Yeah, I think everybody obviously started on stickers, but having a lap or 2 on the tires does not just kill them.
And remember last week at Pocono how frantic things were at the end of that first round of qualifying. A lot of bumping that went on. So I look at who's on the list. I mean, McDowell qualified what, 12th or 13th last week at Pocono. Very good chance he could pick up.
I would not be a bit surprised that you definitely can go out there and run quicker your second time, Jeff.
I agree, Larry, and I think what's going to happen, where this is going to play out for a lot of these teams that are in 20, I think maybe go all the way up to like 21st. Sounded like he started up, then he shut it off. Comes back running again.
I don't hear 8 cylinders.
I don't know. It didn't sound like it's firing on all 8, though. It sounded flat.
And it sounded really weird. But I think there's going to get a whole cycle going here where you're going to start seeing cars get inside the top 24, and those that are in the top 24 right now are going to have to go back out.
I might be wrong, but that car just doesn't sound like it's running clean. It just sounds like it might be down to something going on with the cylinder, maybe.
It does not sound right.
The sound, but I just felt it sounded like it was off, had a cylinder off.
Now, Jamie, what's up?
In Allmendinger, I just checked in with the team, and they said he went out for his first run, and it just cut off. They brought it in, cooled it down, and it just did the second. It did it again on the second time. He's saying on the radio he's just going to fight through it, but cutting off mysteriously.
Well, luckily he's getting through the corners good enough. It's just whether or not he can maintain on the straightaway. You see it almost lose a little bit down here with the straightaway, but he's going to move into top 24.
21st.
He's in 36.45. And that will bump his teammate, Chris Buescher.
Let the games begin.
They better begin in a hurry. They only got 6 minutes to go.
6 minutes to go in round 1. Who will make another run?